Hello everyone, I am Darcy D, your virtual voice coach, and today's webinar we're going to have some fun with Riff and Run 101. When you think of the term Riff and Run, what comes to mind? Is it Beyonce melting a melisma or Chris Stapleton sliding through Tennessee whiskey? For a lot of singers, riffs and runs represent freedom, a way to personalize the melody, to flex your vocal creativity, and to emotionally connect with the lyrical content of the song. But for others, myself included, it can feel intimidating, like vocal gymnastics that just can't be done yet. But here's the good news. Runs, like everything else we do with our voices, they're learnable, they're trainable, and very much within your reach. Like most everything we do as singers, it is about building strong vocal habits, muscle memory. And today, we're going to break down what riffs and runs actually are, talk about why they matter, maybe why they don't, go through some exercises and examples that you can use straight away, and help you start building the kind of agility, tone, and control that makes riffs feel like second nature. So if that's what you're interested in, you're in the right place today. Now, a little fun fact about Darcy D. I am not really a riffster. My background is in rock music, classic rock. And although there are riffs and runs and that kind of music, I've never really been, like a pop R&B riffster. And I'm still quite amazed when I hear singers running through this sort of vocal acrobatics, because it blows my mind, the amount of control that they have. But one thing I've learned as a vocal coach is that all these riffs and runs are a collection of notes that have been habituated and probably started rather slowly and then were sped up till eventually it just flows off the tongue like it was meant to be. So we're going to break it down. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat. And this will always be open for discussion. This webinar today I think is going to open up a can of worms for the app that will lead to many exercises and many discussions and many points of view on how we do this. So first and foremost, have you had your coffee? There you go. What is a riff? Okay, so a riff is a short, catchy, melodic phrase, often repeated or looped. Think of it like a hook or vocal signature. All right, so some examples of riffs would be, I'll just switch here to this view. Examples of riffs. So if you just play any scale here, we can go, that's a riff. 2 notes, la la. 3 notes, la la la. 4 notes, la 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 la. That's still a 4-note riff. And then, the more you can have 2 or more notes that make up a riff. Okay, so it's short and melodic. The riffs are typically concise, consisting of a few notes rather than a long, drawn-out sequence. So what is a run then? So a run is a rapid series of notes sung on a single syllable, usually descending or ascending through a scale. So runs are riffs linked together. And runs are usually done again in a single sound, vowel sound, or the vowel can actually change in the riff as well, because it's the tail end of a word that we were singing. Now we're sustaining it and putting this stylistic approach on it. So the runs often sound improvised, but don't be fooled, because they're often very rehearsed, right? And it's based on on certain scales that we will be learning, and we can also apply this to scales that we already know. So riff and runs aren't subjected to one scale or style. but they can be applied to anything that we do. So Riff and Run lives in the R&B world, rhythm and blues, gospel, soul. And you'll find that R&B and soul are threads that run through most every genre in music. It's just the way it is now. You find it in pop, even in country music. And some of the examples that I'll give today will testify to that. So runs, they require pitch accuracy, muscle memory, and control. And as you know, even learning basic exercises, pitch accuracy can sometimes be the challenge. Developing muscle memory to pitch accuracy is an ongoing thing that we have in our routine. A vocal run, also known as melisma, is a vocal technique where a singer rapidly sings a series of notes, typically 3 or more, while only holding one syllable of text. It is a stylistic embellishment used to add flair and expressiveness to a song, often showcasing the singer's agility and control. And that's what blows our mind. The singer's singing the song, and then all of a sudden a note is held, and this beautiful string of finesse just falls out of their mouth, cascading, ascending, descending, getting all these different notes, and we just go, wow, how did that happen? Embellishment, not replacement. So riffs are meant to add to existing melody, not to replace it. So riffs or runs can be sometimes overused. When it's used constantly, it loses its effect, right? It's no longer mind-blowing. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Riffs and runs are expressive. Vocal riffs are often used to convey emotion or attitude, or a singer's unique style. And actually learning to apply riff and run to your vocal ability is going to contribute to your unique style, because everyone's going to learn it differently and apply it differently and use it differently, sometimes sparingly and sometimes over the top. Subtle or prominent riffs can be subtle, blend into the background, or be more noticeable and catchy, depending on the song and the singer's intent. So distinguished from runs, well, both involve quick sequences of notes. Runs are generally longer and more elaborate. So a riff is rather quick, la 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 la, where the run is going to be quite a bit la, all these different things. So while riffs are shorter and more focused on melodic phrasing. So vocal runs are not essential to a song's melody, but are added to make it more interesting and personalized. So the key feature of a run is the speed at which the notes are sung. They are typically performed quickly and are designed to stand out. Is making sense so far, everyone? Emphasis in storytelling is another reason we use vocal runs. They can be used to emphasize certain words or phrases, adding to the emotional depth and storytelling to the performance. Mastering vocal runs requires practice and precision. Singers need to develop control over their pitch and breath to execute them correctly. Otherwise, you will just execute them. It will not be good. Some examples in music, and I get this one a lot. Chris Stapleton's version of Tennessee Whiskey. And I don't know if you've ever gone back to, I think it's the late, 70s, 80s, 90s. There's the original version of Tennessee Whiskey, and I, at this moment, forget the artist's name. But you can look it up, and it's nothing like Chris Stapleton's version. It's very plain. It's sung rather stoically, and it doesn't have any of that R&B flavor into it. So when Chris Stapleton released this for any true country fans that knew of this original song, it blew their minds. When you break it down, it's very simply complicated. Another one is the opening line of the song "Fallen" by Alicia Keys, which is outstanding and stunning in all its own. And of course, there's the Christina Aguilera and the Mariah Carey and the Whitney Houston and the Ariana Grande and all these amazing singers that just seem to have this natural flair with this tool. It's often used at the beginning or end of a vocal phrase to anchor a vocal idea. So, why, as singers, do we want this skill? With the skill, you can add the expression. Allows you, the singer, to add personality and emotion. So it also provides credibility, seen as a mark of a skilled vocalist, right? Which is very true. It's useful across all genres when used tastefully. But beware, overuse can be a trap. Don't run to impress, run to express. So pick the right place and time to put all these runs into your songs, and you'll find it more effective, and your listeners will find it more amazing. So let's look at some common misconceptions about riff and run. You're either born with it or not. This is false, because like I said just earlier, some people have it, yes, and they're able to emulate it rather quickly, but for most of us, we work it. It's only for R&B singers. Not true. As I said earlier, this R&B thread, this R&B style of singing, and primarily the scales used within R&B, are now threads being used in almost every genre of music. So it's not true, it's just for R&B singers, it's for every singer. It's all about speed. No, definitely not. It's all about clarity and intention. So, and quite often, I've seen singers where they get the first few notes of the run and the last few notes of the run, and what happens in between is a guess. And I see that with every riff and run I've ever had to work with a singer where they need help with it. We clarify a few notes, we habituate those placements, we do it very slowly, we link the little riffs together, and suddenly there's a run. So that is the key. Start slow. Master the shape of the phrase first, then build speed. You have to find your building blocks, put them together, digest them note by note, and then slowly speed them up. Slowly stylize them, add the grace notes, add all of the flavor, the emotional value. The more you know it, the easier it is to apply all of these things, right? So some of the biggest building blocks to learning riff and run is something called a pentatonic scale. Then there's pentatonic major and pentatonic minor scales. Penta means 5, which means they're 5-note patterns. And within those 5 notes, we can learn to develop more, right? So you can do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, what I thought I'd do is I'd start with something we already know. The scales that we use typically every day in exercise, and then I would introduce some new scales and show you how that can be applied, right? So let's just go to the piano. So if we started, I'll just start where it's comfortable for me. So typical 5-tone scale, right? La 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 la. Up and down, ascending, descending. It's quite easy. So if we were to start at the top of this phrase, which would be do, re, mi, fa, so, we're going to start so and go down to do. So if you started up top here and just went la la, la la, there's a riff. La la. Now what if we sustained one of the notes? La la. There's a riff. It's a kind of a fancier riff. La la la. There's 3 notes. La la la. La la la. La la la. So you can see how you can begin to stylize the simple exercise. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la. So now you can sustain pause on any note of that descending sequence. And there's your little riffs turning into a run. La 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 la. So sometimes when I'm working on dexterity, hey, looks like we have a new member. Welcome, Chad, the one and only. So if we started at the top note, sustained the top note, and walked the remaining 4 down, la, 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 la. There's a riff run right there. We can do that several times walking up and down the scale. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. So we're starting to memorize. This is a basic major 5-tone scale, right? And then we can sustain each note individually. La, 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 la. La, la. La, la. So we're sustaining on the 4 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll sustain on the 3. La, 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 la. La 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 la. So if I have habituated each and every note, it becomes way simpler for me to stop and start wherever I want within the confines of this scale. And we're just moving it one way, down, up, down, right? And then we can go to the 2. La 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 la. That's kind of a fun one. La, 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 la. And then you could do it on the ascending pattern. La, 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 la. Then the 3, la, la, la. What are you noticing? This is very much like the deep practice exercises. Very much like deep practice. So if you think deep practice is actually applied to everything that we do, we have to focus on where those notes are, how we find the placement with our instrument, our body type, size, shape, and then how we activate it and memorize those notes. And how do we memorize? Repetition. How fast do we do it? As slow as has to be. We speed it up when we can. The trick is to not make mistakes. But at the same time, and here's the, this is the oxymoron. You have to make mistakes, but you want to tighten it in so much that you don't make mistakes, and then you can keep applying. La 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 la. There's a riff and run, folks. Just on a 5-tone scale. You can switch this up with all 10 of your vowels, because you're going to find as you move up and down the scale, some of these vowels are going to cooperate and some of these vowels are going to resist. So you're going to have to learn how to set up your formant, your shape of the vowel, and activate all these vowels within these notes. So, you know, ah, ooh, ah. So there you have it. Simple 5-tone scale where you can start applying some of these principles. Now, use a metronome if you want to keep it so that it's in tune and on time. Keep the tempo manageable. And within the app, you can, of course, change the speed when you feel like you need to be challenged, when you get bored, when you need to move on. Make it a little bit more difficult and challenging. Sing the pattern slowly, clearly, and in tune, and you shouldn't have many problems. So you can start with your 5-tone scales. You can use triads. You can use the major scale. You can learn each and every note. You get better glides, accurate pitch, and speed accuracy, right? So the most popular, of course, is that pentatonic scale. So let me touch on triads. So if you looked at the octave scale, right? Now here's the triad. La 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 la. Ooh, ooh. So you can do so many things with those 3 notes. And then you just move up. And then it's just the triad. Move it along and sing to that. And then, of course, the major scale. Now, this is something that I like this exercise for connecting glides and glissandos. because typically we go octave when we're doing a glissando, and we have to find the note, right? And if you think about it, your vocal cords are like rubber bands. So they're and there's really no disconnect. So if you wanted to go from here to here, sometimes the staccato sound is better. Right? But now, if you walk this up in a major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you go so when you're doing your glissando and you have to go from here to the octave, you can think the notes of the major scale in your head. And then as you speed that up, those glissandos will get smoother. It's pretty much like a very tight run, because you want to hear each and every one of those notes in that glide and keep that as polished as possible. Pretty cool when you think about that. So now, then you can apply and then if you think about that, it's just the 5-tone scale, 3 more notes. So, and then this becomes really effective when we're doing triads. So you got the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. You can do all kinds of things. So now this is just learning to maneuver using the scales. And the scales are tuned to a piano, which means you're establishing muscle memory, in tune and connected. It's making sense? Why is the pentatonic scale so efficient for riff and run? And the idea is, it's just the science of it actually, the numbers. The notes of a pentatonic scale, every note complements every note. So you can do them in any order, in any fashion, and these notes complement each other. So the major pentatonic scale is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Kind of sounds bluesy, right? But if you go la 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 la, they all work. So when you memorize these scales, it makes it easier for you to apply this to the song, right? And then you could do the shuffle. I'll demonstrate this on a major scale first. So sometimes when we want to learn speed and efficiency in tune, we take the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 5-tone, and we can do 1, 2, 3. So you can go. I'll start here, so it's easier for me. La la la, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. La la la, 3, 4, 5. La la la. So you hear the triads. La la la, la la la, la la la. Then you move up. La la la, la la la, la la la. And if you can sustain it and sing it, great. If you have to do it staccato, great. Because whatever you have to do to keep the pitch accurate, that's what you have to do. Till eventually you can do it fairly fluently. You can la la la. Then we'll work on the descending pattern. La 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 la. Suddenly it's there. La 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 la. And again, any combination vowel consonant that you want to use. You can use numbers. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. And if you want to use do, re, mi, fa, fa, so, fine. Solfege for you. You can use lyrics. You can use whatever you want to use as long as it's in tune and it's in time. And then when you put the whole thing together, this is where these little triad riffs become this one massive run. La, la. And the more habituated it is, the easier it'll be for you to do that. Right? And depending on where it is in the register as well, because the higher you sing this, the more difficult it might be. Might is the word that I use. So this is a really great way to do this. Now, if we looked at a minor pentatonic scale, and this would be something like, so it would be, I'll show the piano, C, E flat, F, G, B flat. Now, doesn't that feel like, So now, when you memorize this pattern, la 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 la, and it sounds like blues, sounds like rock and roll, it sounds like R&B, it sounds like all those things. And that's the great thing about the minor pentatonic scale. As we unfold all these different scales, these different patterns, we're going to learn to mold these into songs, and more specifically, songs with riffs and runs that we need to learn. If you have songs that you would like to learn the riff to in a certain spot of the song, let's do that. Because then we can show all these. I do have a couple of examples in the app, in the Riff and Run section, but we're going to be adding to that. And again, however you want to sing these, solfege, numbers, vowels, whatever, right? Now listen, I'm going to work on, I'll show you, I'm going to share with you how I worked on, I had a request quite a while ago, and this is how this ended up on the app. This was the Chris Stapleton Tennessee Whiskey. So if you listen to this, let me know if you can't hear this.
You're as warm as a glass of brandy.
Right? Now for most people, it's a whoa, right? And then they miss all the notes in the middle. They get the first few notes. But what I did was, so this is at about 80%. So now you're starting to hear the notes. Whoa, right? And then you just go, well, I don't know where he went. So you're following this guy weaving and meandering through the thick brush, and then you lose him. So you gotta slow it down again and again. So what I did was I found the notes. This is the first riff. Your eyes. And then the second riff. You see how that's unfolding? Your eyes. Whoa. That's the second one. And then he goes to this section. That's, and you notice the M starts to appear on warm. Warm as a glass of brandy. Another triad. So once you have all the notes, just like we learned scales, you're as warm as a glass of brandy. We've got the notes. Then we just got to speed it up, add the grace notes, feel what you're saying, right? And I'm sure that this just fell out of Chris's mouth because he's habituated this kind of style into his singing, right? Whoa, as a glass of brandy. Then you can put more weight on it. Then you can put more into it, right? Emotionally, physically. And then it's really that simple. If you can find the notes on an instrument, you can see the notes. It's just picking it apart. And again, I'm not the piano player I should be, but I can still do it. I can still find these notes. We can find a way to find our way through. And then when you sing that, you memorize that and you sing it, your friends will go, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing," right? And you will be, because you took the time to listen to it. Practice it slowly. You isolate, add the ornamentation, right? You're going to stylize it. So whatever your voice type suggests, that's what you're going to do. Gradually speed up once it's clean. Don't guess. Just don't guess, right? And I'm going to show you a second example now. And this one I just did recently with a client. Same idea. So it's an artist named Teddy Swims. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but this is the song. So there he is, handsome Teddy Swims. Listen to this. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, that sounds so complicated. And if you look, when I share the piano here, look at this was the Tennessee Whiskey, right? And here's the Teddy Swims. Ooh, it's very similar, right? Is the first run, and it's little riffs. Right? You could make that a scale. La 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 la. And then suddenly you go, and what's the vowel? Control. Oh. And if you watch here, I'll go back to Teddy. Watch his mouth here. And we're going to slow it down. Check what he does here. Come on, Teddy. You see the mouth move? Whoa, 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 whoa. It's doing all this stuff. He's not thinking about that. He's doing what he does. Now, let's get the second riff. I'll play it one more time. So it's... I lose con. That's the first riff, you could call it. But they're all fairly staccato. I lose con. Right? I lose con. And then the second riff, listen for it. Sounds complicated. Sounds complicated, doesn't it? So it's... Now, if you play it like that, it's... It's kind of boring. Oh, it's like three blind mice, but the way he does it is simple, right? So simple when you break it down, but when you're trying to even learn it sometimes, the beauty of technology, folks, tune in to YouTube, slow it down. You can slow it down even more. And then and you can really hear, and when you watch, you go, oh, that's all it is? But you know what? It's always easier said than done at first. But I've seen him sing this now, because when I had to learn this for the person I was working with, I went and watched all the different versions, right? And I've heard the song before, and you just go, wow, that's really good. But when you try to break it down, you go, where is he? Now, here's the trick, though. We're up in this, if you look at here, so this is transition for a soprano. And so I'm, definitely up in head voice. Oh, now chest voice. Oh, I'm not the best riffster and runster, but when I have to learn them, I can, right? It's just never really been the style I've sung. But again, you watch any TV show today with any kind of singing competition, and there's like 20-year-old kids just blowing my mind with their dexterity and their accuracy. And I just go, what is it? And you go, you know what it is? They're listening to all kinds of music all the time, and they're learning riff by riff by riff by riff by run by run by run by run. And before you know it, it's just second nature, right? I mean, you can't repeat dance steps and over time not be able to dance. It just happens. And if you want to learn this kind of music and be able to riff like this, you have to listen to this kind of music, right? So it's like that old adage, if you hang out with 4 gamblers, you'll eventually become the 5th gambler. Well, if you hang out with people that can riff and run, eventually you're going to be able to riff and run, and I've experienced that myself, every time I've been around amazing singers or coaches that are working with artists, and you're having to hear and repeat what they're doing, and you just go, oh, how did I do that? And now it's possible. So just know that it's possible. You too can sing like Teddy Swims, and but you can listen to anything he does, and it's just so full of. He's an emotional character, and it just oozes through his voice. So, and you have to run some of these lands you have to run and land on powerful maneuvers emotionally. These are hard to fake. So that doesn't cut it. That's a bad exercise. But you have to be able to add that emotion to it, right? And you pull the run out, you study the notes, you break it down, and this is where I'm here. If you have a song you want to learn a run to, as simple or as complicated as it may be, let me help you figure it out. We can use it as an example in the app here, and then we can share it with the rest of the class. These are lovely things to share, right? You have to practice it with pitch reference, right? So use the artist like I just demonstrated. Use the artist to rewind, slow it down, rewind, and just go through it, speed it up till eventually you can do it very, very quickly, and then add the finesse that you have to put into it. Okay, here's a vocal health reminder. And this should go without saying, but before you attempt any of this stuff, before you exercise your voice, warm it up. You will always warm up before running. Get it, riff and run. Warm up before you run. Stretch it out. Make it feel comfortable to learn this. Take breaks when you need to. Hydration is key. Don't push or strain to get the notes too fast. It's not a race yet. All right? Now, some of the common mistakes, and I just want to flash through this, and then we'll get to some comments and questions if you have them. Some common mistakes are trying to sing too fast too soon, right? So you haven't learned the dance steps yet. You can't go through the whole routine. So and some of the other mistakes you make are like not locking in the pitch. Lock it in. Make sure you know those notes, right? Know them. Ignoring the rhythm of the original phrase. This is very important in riff and run, and it's usually indicative of the genre you're singing. And gosh, I mean, again, any genre from country music to R&B, it's there. Not using your breath efficiently is another common miscalculation. So you could run these. And then you'll feel how much breath you're going to need, how long the line is, etc. And speed without clarity, my friends, is noise. Speed with control is music, right? Now, I don't know where I got that quote from, but I like it. Record yourself. Listen back to it. Practice in small chunks, 3-note groups, like I demonstrated. Use sliding techniques to connect notes. And then you can speed that up, and it'll get shorter and shorter and shorter as it has to be. Succinct. Break the run into syllables. Use consonants if needed. So you could no, go, 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 go. And using the vowel that's in the song, obviously, make it easier for you. Repetition is your friend. Be smart. Be smart about it. Repetition is better. Okay, so the challenge would be to apply this in the deep practice area in the app, right? And then you can train yourself to get each and every note of the scale. This will give you the feeling of learning the notes. So when you go into the song and you have to learn the notes of the riff, it's the same idea. And you'll know when you have it because you'll be able to sing along with the artist flawlessly, right? And you're copying their style. You're wearing their jewelry. I think it was Christina Aguilera that said, riff and run and those kind of stylistic tools are jewelry that singers wear. And typically, according to the ladies, we don't wear each other's jewelry, right? So you have to sort of cast your own jewelry. So you learn the original, take from it what you will, and then you put your stamp on it. And that might mean this turns into, that might be your necklace, right? And then and that'll be fine. And so you can use the deep practice exercises daily for. I challenge you, do it for a week. And I know that a lot of you have already done it. And again, when I add the more exercises, it'll be a lot easier. And even better yet, why don't you go into the Riff and Run section, learn the Chris Stapleton's Tennessee Whiskey phrase, and record yourself doing it, put it in the community. I dare you. Share that success story. That'd be fun, right? And then again, this, are there other songs that you want to apply this kind of thing to? Send me your suggestions for Riff and Run ideas. Try building your own riff over a familiar melody. Select a chord and riff over it. So minor, major chord and riff over it. Select the notes that work, find the ones that, or omit the ones that don't. Okay, so now you've got a foundation to understand and train runs, not just copy them. So stay consistent and be patient with your pitch and your coordination. Don't rush it. And most importantly, use your runs to tell the story. That's what they're designed for. Riff and run your way, not someone else's, right? And you'll find that this will be fantastic. I want to thank you for joining me today on this Riff and Run adventure. As always, if you liked what you've seen, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, sing for yourself.